73 made history. We all knew that. Who figured 60 would mean history too? Nobody except maybe 24, the former 8. And the Rams hope overall number 1 becomes a legendary player and not famous bust. The Titans expect all those smaller numbered picks to add up to big wins. And plus, fantasy means nothing but numbers. So we check in on a little data update on our fantasy baseball league. This is Mark and Macy. This is our show that we come your way every Thursday night, right about this time. And this is edition number 19. Can you believe it, Macy?
Number 19. It's going fast.
So this is our Peyton Manning +1 edition for you. I couldn't come up with a 19 right off the top of my head, so that was the best I can do. So we are going to talk some football. There's a little bit of news out there with the Rams and the Titans making big deals, and the NFL schedule is about to be released in just a couple hours. But before that, how can we pass on what happened last night, Macy? That was crazy. That was crazy good.
Yeah, so there's not many things in life I regret missing on TV. I normally don't care, but I regret last night, and I will forever regret last night. I decided to watch the Rangers-Penguins game over any of this madness going on. I fell asleep before the Rangers-Penguins game was even over, so I didn't even get to watch or see anything that happened in the world of basketball. And once I woke up and saw everything, I was really, really mad at myself. But of course, I spent all day, Googling everything because it was such a hype. It was, my timeline was still flying after everything that happened.
Macy, I'm shocked because based on your NBA radar versus mine, I thought I was going to be the one jumping on here saying, well, I caught a little bit here and I caught a little bit there, and then I got into it, and you were going to be like, well, I was locked in the whole time, and this is what happened, and this is what I thought. That's what I expected.
I know, but you know what? Like, to me, playoff hockey is just a thing in itself, and I love playoff hockey, and I'm a Ranger fan, so once it's the Rangers on, I'm playing a team like Pittsburgh. I'm a PA girl. They're a PA team. They were kind of always our rivals when I was at Penn State. So it was a big game I had to watch. There was a lot of trash talking going on with some of my, friends from school and whatnot. So I just felt I had to watch it. And no one in my house watches NBA. So it was the Rangers or nothing.
And such a big game that you fell asleep.
Yeah, I was really tired. No, it was just a bad game. The first was okay. The first period was all right. And then it just seemed to go downhill. Hank got injured. There seemed to be a lot of people in and out. Penguins had a third string goalie playing who's played a game like he's never played before. So it was just kind of, I just kind of wanted to close my eyes and pretend it never happened.
Macy, kind of help me out here because Penguins Rangers, it's not on our rundown, means I can't talk about it. I'm locked into our rundown. I can't do anything but talk about our subjects here. So
yeah, no, we don't have to talk about it. I just have to be totally honest, and I can't sit here and say I watched any of the Kobe or Warriors events because I didn't. That's what the internet was for today, I guess.
Yeah, that's the great thing. You can catch up, you can watch everything, the analysis, and catch all the highlights and condense it down and be caught up to date. So I'll give you my take because I thought the Kobe night, and even going into it, even before he did almost miraculous, I found it much more interesting than the Warriors. So somebody asked me actually at work the night before, what are you going to watch tomorrow night? Well, my first answer was neither, because that's kind of what is type of sports fan I am, that I'm not locked into the NBA, but I just had to. I'm a sucker for history. I'm a sucker for happy endings, or what should be happy endings. So I was much more into the Kobe thing. I didn't even check out the Warriors at all. I expected them to win easily as they did, and get the record. So I thought that was kind of a foregone conclusion. I was into the Kobe thing. I caught the beginning of it. I watched the first quarter. I tweeted very early in the game, I'm like, Kobe, just shoot every time down the floor. There should be nobody taking shots on this court other than Kobe Bryant for the Lakers tonight. I just wanted to hoist it up as much as he possibly can. That's what I was there to see, and everybody else. So that worked out because he got off to a bit of a slow start, started to catch his groove. And I just thought he's going to take a million shots and he's going to have a good night just because he took a million shots. But then he really kicked it into gear. I didn't watch the game from start to finish. I kind of lost interest sometime in the second quarter. And then it hit me, whatever I was watching at the time, that I thought, okay, I want to see late in the game, even if it's not a good game and even if Kobe's not playing well. So as soon as I ducked back into the game, he was like in the low 40s at that point, but not shooting well. Like his shooting percentage was really low. And then he just went off the last 6 or 7 minutes, and it was crazy good. Like he turned back the clock, and it was something to see.
That's what I did see. Someone posted a video on Facebook. It was, I think, the last 5 minutes of Kobe's career, and he just turned it up and was playing old school Kobe basketball, which was fun to watch. And what really, really got me was the excitement in that place, and to see people actually excited over the NBA, and even with the Warriors too. People are excited to watch the NBA, which we have not had for a while. And it wasn't a final, it wasn't really a championship game, but to see people excited for history, for even someone like Kobe. Kobe's making history by retiring. That's something people will never, ever forget. You can't turn on another game again and see Kobe Bryant play. So to see the hype for the NBA was a good sign and something that was positive. I wish I would have watched it, but just the excitement that filled the Staples Center before, during, after, Kobe just, I've always liked Kobe. He's what got me into basketball. When I first got my braces, I got purple and yellow because of the Lakers and because of Kobe Bryant. Like, I didn't really care about, basketball. I was probably 7, 8 years old, but I got those colors because of Kobe. I was obsessed with Kobe and Shaq. Like, that whole thing was, just awesome at being 7 or 8 years old. And when I saw Kobe go over to Shaq last night and give him a hug, and they were kind of reunited and they talked about it in the broadcast, it just brought back this feeling. And I had such goosebumps and I wanted to cry, but I had to hold myself together because I was at work. But, just seeing that and seeing that this is what, at the end of the day, this is what sports is all about. It doesn't matter, what sport it is or who you play for. That connection of fans, from people who were fans that paid hundreds of dollars to play, to celebrities sitting on the sideline, to former teammates sitting there. Everyone was just excited for Kobe, his career, and the game of basketball, which I respect. I respect from everyone, everyone who participated in that, even online. You could not go on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram yesterday without seeing Kobe Bryant being mentioned.
All right, folks, this is why I think our show works, is because Macy and I are both just ridiculously huge sports fans, but we come at it from different places. So Kobe Bryant does not register on my radar at all. I recognize the greatness, but I am not attached to Kobe Bryant at all. I don't dislike him. I never thought he was a great character guy. I think maybe he's learned from his past issues off the court in particular. It seems like he has, which is great. I think that's amazing when somebody can learn from their problems. We all make mistakes, and if we can learn and become different people, better people, then that's really important. But so I have not watched a lot of Kobe Bryant in recent years. And in the last few years, there hasn't been a whole lot to see, but a lot of missed shots and a lot of Laker bad losses. But history gets me, and I can totally respect the guy for his incredible talent. And in recent days, we've seen the old Kobe highlights when he had the explosive first step, when he would go above the rim and throw it down, when he had more than just the long range jumper in his game. And he was just remarkable. And I can appreciate the history. I can appreciate the work ethic. Aside from Jordan, that's legendary. His work ethic, his determination, his love for the game. He had a interview a couple of days ago with Hannah Storm, and then they kind of segued that into a earlier interview he had with Hannah Storm a few years ago. And he just couldn't express how much he loved basketball. And that's why he did it. And he just loved the game. And he couldn't imagine stepping away from the game. And it was really going to have to be a difficult decision. And so I can respect work ethic, incredible talent, and love for the game. And that's what brought me in last night and really just just sucked me into this. I just thought it was amazing. And for that guy to, kind of summon up everything he used to have and be able to put 10 minutes of basketball together. Sure, he was shooting a lot of shots and making and scoring points earlier, but it was kind of a lot of shots producing points. But he was vintage Kobe for like the last 6 or 7 minutes of that game. And it was incredible.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, place was electric. He was electric. Fans, I'm sure, at home were electric. They even shut down Twitter. The LA Lakers, their account went missing for 35 minutes, which to me blows my mind. How does an account go missing? And then they go on and tweet, Kobe was too hot. He shut down the Twitter servers. They even fed into it. It was just an unbelievable night that I don't know if we'll see something like that again until maybe LeBron retires. I don't know who else I could say right now besides like Steph Curry and some of these young guys that are coming up, but someone that's really been in the league that you say basketball and you think Kobe. There used to be tons of big names out there. And now I feel like the NBA is not as popular as it used to be. It's not as big. It's not, really a thing. If anyone really asked, like, if Kobe wasn't retiring this year, no one would have any idea how awful the Lakers were this year. I think they won, 17 games?
Yeah, that was number 17 last night, 17 and 65.
Awful, and people wouldn't acknowledge that or realize that if this wasn't Kobe's final game. Last night's game would have been, I bet you there would have been plenty of open seats in that arena.
Macy, you bring up LeBron, and that'll be an interesting comparison because I think we're probably about 5 or 6 years away from that, something in that range. And LeBron is not a beloved athlete. And actually, Kobe is not, outside of Los Angeles, a beloved athlete. I think people just are fascinated with the talent, the ability, the accomplishments. It just can't be denied or ignored. He's so good. He's one of the, it's difficult to rate. I'm going to say one of the top 5 to 15 players of all time. He's something in that range. Most people would have him closer to the top 5. LeBron, he's going to be in that range too. And unless LeBron really falls off the cliff in the next year or two, or really steps on the gas and knocks out like 3 more championships, their careers are going to be kind of comparable, although Kobe's going to have the big championship edge over LeBron. Right now it's 5-2. So LeBron, I think he's respected kind of like Kobe. He hasn't done anything stupid off the court or something that would question his character to date. That obviously that's 10 years removed or 12 years removed at this point. So people have kind of not necessarily forgotten it, but hopefully forgiven him and moved on past that. So it's going to be an interesting comparison because that's the one guy out there that's somewhat close to retirement that we could make that comparison. Steph Curry's got a whole lot left in the tank, and we'll see where that goes. And that kind of segues us into the 73-9. And what just came to mind while I was setting us up there, Macy, was you throwing out a poll a number of months ago, and this was very good. This is cool that they were off to like a 23-0 start, and you were like, where's this going to end? Can they take it all the way? Can they beat the Bulls? What I thought was funny is your little prediction of like 60 wins or whatever it was at the time.
You guys said I was safe with 60. Yep.
We're safe with 60. I think somebody here gave, and I got to brag about this just because you have just obliterated me when it comes to predictions thus far around here. Super Bowl and something else you nailed, and I was way off. So I think I threw out 72. So they more than matched it. They beat the Bulls. And now I see all this stuff on social media today about the Bulls. The Bulls could have trashed them, or Steph and the boys are better, and who cares and who knows, and it's impossible to debate. It's a good debate, but have any takeaways from what the Warriors accomplished? It was kind of anticlimactic. It was basically the win over the Spurs, the previous game where they had to come back, win it over a team that was 39-0 at home. That was the game that basically told us all, okay, it's inevitable. They've got the record.
Well, it's funny to look back that, our show, we're on week 19, and we started talking about the Warriors right off the bat pretty early on. So now we're finally at the end, and I totally forgot about our poll and our predictions. So I'll definitely have to go back and look at that and see where we were. I know Phil Murphy said something, and I wrote it down, So we will definitely check that one. But we knew then they were a good team, and we knew Steph Curry was up to something, and we knew they were going to produce a lot that we were going to see and be excited over. But like what I think is interesting is this season flew by, and all I remember hearing is just about the Warriors winning. It never seems like they lost, which they didn't lose that many games, but it just seems like, oh, the Warriors won again. The Warriors won again. Steph Curry had a great night. And that just seems like if I were to take anything away from this basketball season, that's what it was. They're predicted to win the championship. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would I love to see maybe a team come in and shut them down? Sure. But I'm going to say that's an easy win for them. What I thought was more interesting, though, is that they never lost a game back-to-back all season long, and they never lost to the same team twice. So just like it's so many things. It's not just getting 73 wins. There was no losing to the same team, no back-to-back losses. Just so many different things to add on to their season and what they've accomplished that I think makes all of those wins that much better, I guess, or more worth it, or they worked harder for it. Like we can't lose tonight because we lost last night. And they kept that going, and I think it paid off, and it showed, not necessarily skill, but working as a team and being a team.
Hey, Chris, thanks for the question. I will give you my take, and then I'll go. And first, my thought about the Warriors not just gaining a record, but following a championship. So they won the championship last year. That was impressive, of course. It's an NBA championship. At the same time, they received a lot of, not criticism, but there were skeptics out there because the Cavaliers were missing two of their best three players during the finals. So that's a legitimate gripe or a legitimate disclaimer on the championship, but the Warriors can't control that. They have to go out and play basketball and beat a good Cleveland team with arguably the best player in basketball right now. Again, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving on the sideline, it would have been a much better series. Had the Warriors won, we have no idea. But they kind of took some motivation, I've heard in recent days, from the criticism or the questions about could you have beaten Cleveland last year with Love and Irving in the lineup? And they took that as motivation to say, we're going to be better this year, even better than our championship form last year. Chris is asking about the Warriors getting bounced from the playoffs, and what if they get bounced from the playoffs? Well, to me, in one simple phrase, they're the 2007 New England Patriots if that happens. They are the record holders for the regular season who lost in the playoffs or in the championship.
It's possible. It's possible. And Steph Curry said, we have no room for error. So who knows? Maybe there's just something that's not clicking. Maybe there's an injury. Maybe there's something that causes an error and they lose. Because if the leader of Steph Curry is saying, we have no room to make anything, any mistakes, have nothing happen, anything is possible. And I believe in that. I remember that 2007 Super Bowl perfectly. I do believe that sometimes the best go down. So you never know.
It's difficult to see them go down when a team has to beat them 4 times. That's going to be difficult. Now, if it was the NCAA tournament, if it was football, then yeah, one good game. I can see the Spurs winning, the Thunder, the Cavs. There's a number of teams that could beat them in a one-game scenario. But to go out there and beat them 4 times in 7 games, I would be borderline shocked if that happened. I think San Antonio is the one team that's proven that they can do it, but even in a scenario where they didn't sit their starters, they went full throttle the other night. They had close to a 10-point lead sometime in the second half. The Warriors came back when they had to and beat them, a team that was 39-0 at home. This team is incredibly good. That's about all you can say there. It's amazing how good they are. And then we got to see Kobe, relive the past, and it was just a special night in the NBA. And aside from Pat Muldowney, who thinks every night in the NBA special, Macy, you hit it right on, that the NBA needed a night like last night to kind of regain a little bit of magic, and they definitely did there. So I want to remind everyone, this is the Mark and Macy show. We come your way every Thursday night here on Blab, right around 6:45. You can catch the replay if you miss us live. We're on YouTube. We're also on our website, markandmacyshow.webs.com. Got it.
Got it.
Got it. Yes. And we've got a Twitter page as well.
So when I was, I don't know how old it was, but the cool thing to say when we were younger was Kobe. So if you would throw, like a piece of paper across the room into the trash can, you'd scream Kobe. My brother and I said Kobe over everything, to the point where my mom threatened to ground us if she heard it one more time. So he would like see something, he'd be like, Kobe. My brother, again, he doesn't know who Kobe is. He didn't even know what that meant. But he knew every time that, something was shooting something or something was whatever, he would always say it. So I always think that's funny, and to hear people screaming Kobe last night, and that's my memory of Kobe Bryant, just Kobe.
Well, this is your one and only brother, who you explained to us a couple of weeks ago is not a sports fan.
Yeah, not really. He doesn't care he actually really hates basketball.
So, well, I'm just going to say he was extremely young either at this point, or does he not know sports to that point that he didn't know who Kobe Bryant was?
No, I mean, he can kind of associate some players with teams or sports. Like every time we go to a hockey game, he asks me if Eric Lindros is going to be there. No.
I know you're very close family, and you're close to your brother, so I'm just amazed. I understand he doesn't like sports, but I would just think being around you, some of it would just rub off.
No, he has no interest, and he hears the names, and
That's
he
funny.
just puts them in context of wherever and however he can. But it's funny. Like, he just has no interest in it, but he loves attending sporting events, just for the social aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. So I think that's our NBA wrap, and we can certainly talk NBA playoffs as we get closer. And I will certainly be pounding the desk to get in our NBA segments here in the coming weeks. So, yeah, this is the Mark and Macy show every Thursday night. I was going to mention, even though Macy, her popularity is at a point where she doesn't have to self-publicize. She doesn't have to throw out there what she's doing. I do it. I give the shameless plugs from time to time. So for this week, it was check out on YouTube, if you care to see me now versus a number of years ago. There's a show that was put together by my old station, WCBI, commemorating Mississippi State's Final Four run. It's called The Boys from State. So I did an interview at ESPN, so they were kind enough to ask me to talk about my memories of covering the team. And there's some live shots from years gone by that was kind of caused me to cringe a little bit to see again. And then I also spoke to a college class, and I posted that on my YouTube channel as well. So if you want to check that out. All right. What's that?
You're a popular guy.
Oh, yeah. Popular guy. Yeah. Well, you know where the popularity is here.
It's actually, to be honest with you, it's been pretty quiet for me, which is nice. It's a little bit of, a break. Nothing really too much going on. We had a foreign exchange student with us for the week. She leaves us tomorrow morning. Well, tonight. She leaves early tomorrow morning. So she's from Paris. So it's been really cool. I speak no French. So, our conversations have been, do you know anything about sports? She shakes her head no. So it's really cool, though. She's such a great person, and it's been cool to have her. So we've been busy, doing anything and everything we can with her, just to teach her and welcome her to America. So I've been busy with that, work, springtime, baseball started. So just keep it up.
It's all good. It's all good. Walter, he watched my video. Thank you. Knight Rider, of course. Of course he did. Has your family hosted exchange students before? Chris is asking.
No, this was the first time. My sister takes French in school, and they had 12 kids come over, and we were asked to be one of the host families. So lucky us.
Yeah, that is cool.
No, it really has been a really cool experience for all of us. We've all had something, to learn. And so the thing is, when you have like an exchange student, or maybe it's just a French thing, I don't know. She brought us gifts. So as soon as we got here, or as soon as she got here, we gave her gifts. So I was trying to figure out what I could give her because I don't even know this girl. So I got her a Penn State shirt because not only am I a Penn Stater, and that's my university that I've learned. They don't know what college is. They don't have that word. They use the word university. But my family is diehard. It's all over my house. It's everywhere. So when she first got the shirt, she was like, I don't even know what this is. But when she started to realize it around my house and put it together about how big we really are into this, she thought it was really, really cool. So it's been like a fun little thing. Every time she turns around, there's something new, whether it's a license plate or my brother's t-shirt, my dad's tattoo. There's just a lot of Penn State going on. But she's learning all about it.
Yeah, when it comes to you and I'm guessing your family, it doesn't take long, I would guess, to figure out what you're into because it's out there.
Yeah, we don't hide it.
You don't hide it.
Why hide it, right? No, I'll be there this weekend, so I'm very excited to be back. To be back for some spring football.
Oh, that's where you're going back.
Yeah. So, super excited for that one. I haven't been up there since, I guess, football season. But,
You went back for a Penn State game?
Yeah, I went to a couple.
Did you?
Ask me which ones, I have no idea.
You have no idea? See, that's the kind of stuff that I will remember for like 10 years, if not longer.
They all just blend in, like I remember certain games for certain things, but I go to away games, I go to home games. Like I went out to Chicago this year for a game.
So I do remember that. That's when we first started talking and putting together this show that you were going out to Northwestern. I remember that.
Day trip to Northwestern to see Penn State play. Probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. Longest day ever, but it was totally cool, totally worth it. That's what life's all about. So whole fam is going out to State College. We're going to have a great time tailgating, watching some football without Christian Hackenberg. So it'll be interesting.
What did Christian Hackenberg ever do for Penn State?
He's just been the name of Penn State for the past 4 years. So once a big name like that leaves.
I'm kind of channeling my son when I say that because I've actually been a big defender of Christian Hackenberg because Bill O'Brien, Christian Hackenberg kind of brought Penn State back when the program could have went off the cliff. Had a freshman season that was phenomenal when they were expected to win like 2 or 3 games. They went 8-4, had a much more respectable team than they should have. He got beat up, bad offensive line. And then he kind of had a subpar sophomore and to a lesser extent junior seasons, and he's taken a big hit. My son, from the time he was a freshman, I was like, this guy's an NFL quarterback. And my son always takes shots at Christian Hackenberg, kind of just to get back at me a little bit and see my reaction.
Yeah, you know what? I said that too from the beginning that Christian Hackenberg was an NFL quarterback, but seeing what he's done over the past 2 years, it's hurt him. I think really, honestly, the only shot Christian Hackenberg would have in the NFL would be to be reunited with Bill O'Brien. If he's not back with him, I don't know if any other coach is going to be able to help him like O'Brien did. There was something special between the two of them, something that really clicked that made Hackenberg a good quarterback. And, maybe he'll prove me wrong, but, and of course I'm rooting for him. Of course I am. But I just don't see him being a huge success in the NFL if he's not with O'Brien.
Well, Bill O'Brien automatically works well with quarterbacks. So that's the first half of that. I think the other equation is that they both recognized, and this is to Christian Hackenberg's credit, that they were in a difficult situation and they desperately needed each other to survive it and face that adversity and succeed. And again, to their credit, once Bill O'Brien left, then we can certainly see a decline in Christian Hackenberg's play. I never said Christian Hackenberg was going to be the next Dan Marino. I said that he was going to play in the NFL. He will be an NFL player somewhere, whether that's holding a clipboard on the sideline or throwing passes on the field, which kind of leads us, Macy, into our next subject, which deals with this humongous trade between the Rams and the Titans. So St. Louis, now the Los Angeles Rams, desperate to get a franchise quarterback. I can't imagine that they would be looking to any other position with a number 1 overall pick. Just kind of unloaded everything on the Tennessee Titans to say, hey, we need that number 1 overall pick. We're desperate to get it. There you go. You've got our draft. You've got part of next year's draft. Have at it, but we need that guy to lead our franchise. So I'm not going to go through all the specifics, but you can look that up online. But it's basically Tennessee trading down to give Los Angeles that number 1 overall pick, and they are going to take a quarterback. And yes, Jeff Fisher might be a moron, but they have the number 1 overall pick. So now it's all about selecting the right guy, regardless of whether it's a good or bad trade. They have the number 1 overall pick. So are they selecting Peyton Manning, the next Peyton Manning, or are they selecting Ryan Leaf? It all comes down to the selection process now.
Yeah, I can say I was surprised to see that, but at the same time, I was not surprised to see that. Someone announced why they didn't, or they asked why they didn't announce it when's in it. And I said, I think LA's got enough going on in sports right now. They don't need to announce this. But I don't know. I feel like the Rams are trying to, I understand they're trying to rebuild something that once was, but I feel like they're almost trying too hard. It seems like the whole Eagles dream team thing where they try to get a whole bunch of things. You get a new team, you get number 1 draft pick, you're getting different uniforms, you're getting this, you're getting that. And what are they going to produce? You need time. You're not just going to move to a new city and next thing you know, win the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. So I think they've got a lot of other things to focus on rather than maybe taking the first round of the draft.
Okay, so we're going to let a caller in. Here's our disclaimer. We had a little issue a couple weeks ago, so my finger is going to be on the X button to kick you out as soon as possible. If you don't come strong, you don't come clean. So here we go. We've got a caller coming in. And of course, Blab has changed up its little calling pattern, so I think he's finally in. Hey, Ruben, how are you?
Hi, I'm not Ruben, but how are you?
I'm doing just fine. So I only go by the name I see on the screen.
Yeah,
Ruben is here.
He's using a Fred's laptop.
Hi, guy. I'm Ruben, actually, but okay, this is my friend behind the computer.
All right.
Yes.
We picked up 3 viewers there. We love it.
Yeah, four. We have a Finnish guy with us.
You can't forget me.
Oh, there goes our fisheye.
Okay, let's be kind with the equipment there, boys.
Yeah, let's do that.
What do you got for us? What's going on?
What are you guys talking about? About the Kobe's hashtag Kobe Warriors? That's a football thing, right?
Football? Kobe.
Oh boy.
Freaking basketball.
Macy, pretend this is your brother.
What again?
Okay, so Kobe Bryant is a player for the LA Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. Kobe Bryant.
Today, he played his last match and he went like full epic. I know.
No, he played
I know, but he doesn't. Yeah.
He played a 60-point game, right?
Yeah. He just went way too epic today. Yeah.
So we were just discussing Kobe Bryant's career, the impact he left, and the game that he basically walked out with on his career to put up 60 points and, just a celebration of Kobe.
Okay, so this is the Kobe celebration corner.
That's our subject. I'm not gonna
right there. Oh yeah.
Play with it, son.
Well, we're from Holland, so and not Holland, Michigan, but Holland as in the country Holland.
That was going to be my guess out of the two.
That's very cool to make friends all over the world. So we're happy to have you.
That's cool because Blab is like a great platform to meet people from around the world, right? So, but we don't know a whole lot of basketball, but my stepdad, he's an international basketball referee. So what are the odds, right there? No, he's not. So, but I haven't seen the match though. But we were just, like we do every week. We always come on Blab, and we just want to talk to people about whatever.
Well, very cool.
Okay, so we're gonna give you a little homework.
Okay.
Find out something interesting about the NBA.
Yeah.
And come back to us next week and tell us what something that
you're like a weekly NBA. Like an NBA panel, or
are we?
Are you? That's what I'm asking.
No, we're not.
Let me set it a little straight, though. Okay, so I love the NBA, though. I've seen a lot of matches. The last thing I saw that had some acquaintance with the NBA was the roast of Justin Bieber, though. With what's his name, Shaq.
Oh, Shaq. Okay.
With Shaq roasting Justin Bieber, but that's about it.
Okay, well, Shaq and Kobe can relate, so I'll give you credit for that.
Okay, so in your opinion, who's better, Shaq or Kobe?
Stephen Curry.
Or Stephen Curry?
I'm gonna go Kobe.
You're gonna go Kobe? Okay, and Mark.
Okay. If you're putting together a basketball team, you would rather have Shaq because he's more of a unique player as a dominating center. But as basketball players, it's a tough choice.
It's a tough choice. But we do have we go on the floor with Stephen Curry in Holland. I mean, a lot of people, when Stephen Curry was just introduced, they were like, "Whoa, dude, Stephen Curry! Oh my God, this is like the best. He's so short, but he's such a good player." And so, how about that?
No, that's good. I have to ask: did people in Holland care about Kobe Bryant's last game?
No,
no, not really in Kobe Bryant.
Macy,
in general,
I'll tell you. It's in Holland. It's baseball and basketball and American football are
completely irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant. The only thing we do is soccer, and
actually, we have more sports. We have soccer, volleyball, ice skating,
field hockey.
Field hockey, indeed, it's very big here.
And
we actually fielded good teams in that.
But that's about it. We have like I went to a ball game, a baseball game in in Seattle with what's the team? They were against Cleveland Indians.
That's Mark's team.
Could have brought me with you.
Yeah. So but when I was at the match, we had like you have the halftime sing-alongs and the what do you call it? Before a game, you have these parties on the parking lot, tailgate parties.
Yeah.
Right, tailgates. And well, if you see our soccer culture is more of a real rivalry thing. You'd never see like mixed fans audience celebrating that they are going to a match. They rather be bashing each other's skulls in than celebrating there's a game. So
well, you don't exactly want to go to a baseball game if you want to experience tailgating, and especially the Seattle Mariners and the Cleveland Indians. Maybe you want to go to a college football game.
Yeah, exactly.
Big Ten or down south in the SEC, and you're got some serious tailgating there.
Yeah, I've seen a Seattle Seahawks tailgate party too. So that was really big because they were Super Bowl champions.
Yes, they were.
2 years ago, right?
Yeah, they lost a couple years ago, and they won one 3 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna change seats now.
You are on it.
Actually, something I want to ask you is that here when we have deals with popular clubs.
Sit down, bitch.
Excuse the interruption. In any case, here, when we're dealing with popular sports clubs, like here in general, it's soccer, as you would call it. We have a lot of problems with hooliganism and people just generally going wild. And isn't that a thing in America, or doesn't that just happen there?
Okay, so I don't understand what you're asking.
Well, here in general, like if you have popular clubs playing or something like that, hooliganism is a very big issue here. Like you will see fucking riots on the streets and things like that. Like
that's my club. I'm gonna fight for it. Like
exactly
like
what he
says.
Yeah. Like there's legit policy discussions among politicians about how they're going to deal with this stuff, because there's just riots everywhere and problems like that. Yet the fan culture is not as strong as it is in America, where people really root for their team. And you're talking about much bigger numbers, because we're a country with like a population of 17 million.
17 million, yeah.
Yeah, and it's on a much smaller scale, yet it's much more serious. Yet I never hear stuff like that over there.
Exactly,
so
I feel it. I feel it.
What's your feeling on that? You know, why do you think that is the case, or is it just something that's pushed away in the media that we don't hear about it, or what's
the times that you see that the most frequently when you see rioting in the U.S. when it relates to sports is when a team wins a championship. So it's a major city. There's a ton of people. They get into it. Even people that aren't really into sports or into that team just look for an excuse to riot and trash things and burn cars and do things like that. That's usually when you see that. You don't necessarily see it as much to the grand scale of soccer in Europe, where guys are going at it in the stands during the games. Nothing on a regular basis.
It's come this far that people actually meet up with their teams in forests to fight each other. It's it's insane.
Yeah, but don't you think the whole cultural difference is really strange when you think about that? Because you have a very clear contrast here. Even though the scale is much smaller here, yet the adherence to the subculture, so to speak, is much stronger. So don't you think that's strange?
So I guess what I would have to say for that, and this is just me thinking, but in the US, we have a huge population. We have so many teams. We have so many different sports. So yes, you know, I don't like Philadelphia teams because I'm a New York fan, and New York fans don't like Philly teams, and Philly teams don't like New York. But there's so many sports that we are quote unquote rivals over, but we also both hate Dallas. So
you got to comment on it.
We have a mutual feeling. Whereas for you guys with soccer and your matches, you guys have that team and that team only. And that is where your main focus is. Whereas it might be baseball season right now, but I could be watching hockey.
No.
You know, so
don't you think that premise is, sorry to interrupt you, but don't you think that premise is slightly flawed from the beginning? I don't know if you know what it's like here, but many popular players, like good players from Spain or Holland, they play in many different teams. It's not like they're stuck to one team. They're stuck in the Dutch national team. And if they're playing in the World Cup, they might be in a different team. Or if they're playing in a sanctioned football league, then they're in a different team and such like that. Yet you don't really see that phenomenon. Is that because the players are like set into their team and they'll only play for the state that's related to that team, or any type of affiliated group, or what is it?
I don't think so. I mean, there's plenty of guys that play, you know, in the U.S., but then when it comes to hockey, Henrik Lundqvist played goalie for the Swedish team. You know,
Swedish team.
So,
He's Finnish.
I'm Finnish. We don't like Swedes, but it's a non-issue.
You love Swedish.
It's an inside joke.
You know, there are people that leave, but don't get us wrong. There are people that do die at sporting events every year because they get into wicked fights in the parking lot. You know, people fall over the edge of balconies because they're fighting. It's a really big thing. Fighting in the U.S. in the stands is becoming a bigger problem.
Yeah, okay, but if you say yearly, I mean, with us, it's at every event. Like every stadium is set off with rioting police.
Like here, you can talk about this stuff every week. It's like if the news needs fodder to report on, that's what they have. Like if
I
they
know.
need a negative event to
Yeah.
give to say something about, then it's basically up for grabs.
I know people who refuse to go to a city because there's a soccer team in that city that represents the city. I mean, I don't get it because I'm not such a sports fan. I mean, I like sports, especially beer sports, but then again, it's I'm not as fanatical as the people that I see. I mean, people have tattoos with their teams, and I've been to America like 5 times, and I've seen people with tattoos on their calves with college football teams and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the road, you have a mixed audience, right? And they're all rooting for their team, and the rival that's sitting like next to them, they don't care. They're like, yeah, your team won, so that's okay. That's all cool. It's like when a team in Dutch sports wins, they're like, oh, you won. I'm going to bash your skull in, and that's that. And
so, guys, it's a great discussion. I don't think there's any question. It's difficult to debate that the American sports scenes as no advertising unless we get paid. Thank you. So
the actual question I wanted to ask about that, we kind of
it's difficult to sell American passion versus European fashion, and passion, because I think Macy brought up a good point in regards to the number of American sports that are extremely popular for millions and millions of people and the number of teams involved. So if you add up all the major sports in America, you're talking like 120 teams, and that doesn't even touch college athletics, where there's another 125 large schools that have huge basketball and football programs. So it's just a little bit more spaced out and spread out in terms of diversity of fan base.
So because we're like we're a real small country with a lot of people. So we're like on each other's lips 24/7, right? So it might be. I mean, I've been to America, and then when I drove to Nevada, I've been on roads. I've been on roads that
I'll let him sit since he can't shut up anyway.
Okay. It's a great discussion, guys. We appreciate you coming by. And does the homework work for you?
Yeah, Kobe.
A little bit on Kobe. You come back next week. We're here Thursday night. We'll bring you on real quick. And we gave you tons of airtime tonight, guys.
Ja, je kankermoeder, vuilig.
All right, good stuff.
All right.
If you've got any bad, you need to get going. So we appreciate them jumping on board. And since there were 4 of them, we give them a little bit more time than we typically would. But very passionate sports fans across the globe. For them, it's Sweden and it's soccer. When they started to name baseball and then they got to another sport, I thought for a second, oh, maybe baseball's big there. And then they've said, no, we don't care anything about that. So
yeah, I had the same hopes. They were listing that stuff like it was popular, and I was about to say, holy cow, like we're on to something. Let's create a league and send it over. And then they said they have absolutely no interest.
Yeah, when they got to like the 3rd one, I thought, okay, yeah, they're letting us know what's not popular. When they said baseball, I thought, oh, wow.
I know.
Maybe.
I got excited.
All right, Macy, we know you need to go. I did want to bring up one other thing. I didn't have a whole lot to say about this, but the NFL schedule is released in just about 45 minutes. And I think this is the most overplayed, overhyped, attention for nothing in sports. This is why. If you know anything about NFL football and how they schedule, let's take your team, the New York Giants. They're playing 3 games in their division, 3 teams. That's 6 games. Then they also play and rotate against a division in the AFC. That's 4 other games. There's 10 games that we already know about. And then if you know anything about the way the NFL schedules, the formula scheduling, giving more difficult schedules to better teams from the previous season, you can almost guess the other 6 games within the conference. I bet I can guess the Giants 14 out of 16 games right now without batting an eye. It's not a big surprise. It's not a shock. I just think it's oversold.
Mark, do you know what it's for? It's so that people can plan out their weekends.
Maybe I'm the most unpopular person in the world, but I don't need to plan for November in April.
Listen, there are females that want to get married in October, November. and they can't plan a wedding if they know there is a huge game that weekend. Trust me, it's a big thing.
Marty says you have a good point. I just think he's being kind because I don't think
No, people get overexcited for the NFL schedules to come out so that they can plan their life around it. I am not kidding.
Okay, most people don't get married on Sunday.
It's still a weekend thing. A wedding is a weekend thing.
Yeah. Stephen Hayward from the Tech Buzz. Thank you for joining. He's got my back. Yeah, I'm just not buying that. I've been through that process. It happened way before April. All that was decided.
I don't know, Mark.
You might be right. This might be completely off my radar, and you might have a great point, but I'm just kind of not buying it.
But it's not just for weddings; it's for everything.
Okay.
Like when I know like that there's a game that there's Eagles Giants that weekend, like after tonight, I know this weekend's gonna be booked. It's like I'm not doing anything that Sunday. I'm the same thing with college. Once I see a college schedule, I do the same thing. Or I plan, hey, I'm going to this game, or I'm going to that game, or this or that. It's all a planning thing, at least from a female point. That's how I see it.
Okay, I can buy some of that. I guess you're slowly selling me on that. I just think I think what would be more of an event would be if college football did that, because we have no idea, if we didn't see the schedules, who Penn State's non-conference games are going to be against. I think college football should all get on the same page instead of these individual schools having their own agendas and scheduling themselves. There needs to be a governing body, i.e. Mark Rogers TV, who knows how to put together a formula schedule for college football that's equitable, and teams can't just go out and grab wins. Thanks, Walter. Thanks, Marty. I got two on my side. I control college football scheduling. I've worked it out. I got a formula. And then we have a huge announcement. You talk about getting college football on the map, let's say in May. May 1st is the big announcement of the college football schedule for 2016. Bam.
I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree.
You were fighting, rolling back your eyes on that one.
No, trust me. I'm the same way.
I agree.
I agree with, I want to know who they're playing, what games they're what games I'm going to plan on going to. I totally agree with all of that. I just think that this whole let's put the schedule out there is to get people hyped, saying, okay, I'm going to go to this game. I can go to that game. I'm going to have something this weekend. Like, it's a planning thing. If you just rolled up in August and was like, hey, by the way, here's the schedule, people are going to be like, dude, I've got something that weekend, or I got this going on, or I can't go there. You give people enough time, it's going to sell. It's going to get people to those games. People are going to say, oh, you know what? That second week in October, I've got nothing going on. It's getting cold here. Let's go down to Jacksonville where it's warmer, or let's go down here and do this to go to a football game. People are freaks, Mark. People schedule their life around football. I used to be one of those people. I've tried to, balance myself a little bit, but
believe me, I will tell you stories that are somewhat disturbing about me planning my life around sports and football in particular. I won't go there tonight. We've got plenty of shows. Hopefully in the future we can talk about that. I did tell you about my story of bringing in a television to work so I would not miss football on a Sunday. Yes, Marty, thank you. Mark has stories. When you've lived as long as I have, you, of course, have stories. Okay, I only have two other things. I was almost trucked. Well, I know you need to go.
I know. You said you had one more thing. Now you got two more.
No, but I came up with two real quick things. So I almost got trucked by former Florida State defensive back Jalen Ramsey today, who is going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. He was at ESPN. I heard this stamping of feet coming around the corner, and I knew there were a bunch of people coming at me, and for some reason they're running, and people don't typically run at ESPN, despite what you see on television on the promos. But it was Jalen Ramsey. They were rushing him to a show. He came around the corner, and yeah, I would have been toast. I think he's probably 6'3", 200, and I'm a couple inches shorter, 5'11", 180. So that's my one little.
Yeah, that really only would have been great if it was filmed.
Oh, you would have liked seeing that.
Oh,
Thanks, Macy.
I would have made sure that went viral.
Wow, you do in fact love me, don't you? Okay, that's good to know. You would love to see me get smashed.
Mark, I think everyone would.
What?
It's just funny. It's just funny when that stuff happens. I mean, if that happened to me, y'all would want to see it, and I'd make it go viral. Like, it's funny. That's like, when's that ever going to happen to you again? Get it on tape so you can have it and say, yeah, that's me.
Okay, I'm going to walk around work in the future with my iPhone rolling at all times. Okay,
Right.
the second thing, and I could possibly bring this up next week, but I'm not going to. Settings in our Major League Baseball Fantasy League. I went in and changed the settings to what I thought they should be. 6 teams in the playoffs, and I changed something else, the settings in the season, so everybody played everybody one time. I saw a setting in our league, Macy, that said unlimited transactions. So you know what I did the first 2 or 3 days of the season? I went crazy with transactions. I was bringing people in and out, trying to find some open spots on my roster, and then all of a sudden it was like 3 days into the season, and it gave me this red warning or whatever, and it said you've hit your transaction limit for the week, and I was toast. And if you go on our message board, I filed our first message. So that's all I'm going to say. I do want you to read the message that I posted on our fantasy page.
Okay.
It started off with
We're the one to
word
change the
starts with
settings,
P.
So if it hurt you, then that's your fault because you changed all the settings.
I didn't change the settings. It told me I had unlimited transactions, and that was a lie. So I'm not mad at you. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I was a little upset about
I'm going to give you a life lesson right here. Not everything you read on the internet is true.
Really?
Really. So even if that says unlimited transactions, I guess that wasn't true.
It's not the case.
Not true. So don't believe everything you read.
So Macy's got a big event tonight. She's got a dinner to get to. So I am done. I'm out. I just want to let everyone know we're here on Thursday night. We have a good time talking sports. We're hardcore sports fans. Goes into some other subjects at times. Basically, we're talking sports. We're here every Thursday night. We got the record on our website. We've got the record on our YouTube channel as well. So join us there, please. Macy, wrap it up. You say goodbye. I am done.
Adios. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to our 4 guests from Holland. Great to have you here. Was not expecting that, but it's cool to see that our sports are international and it's not just a U.S. thing. And I hope one day we get a chance to learn about their culture, their sports, and what goes on there. So I think maybe that's something that the U.S. should work on. I don't know. But it's been a lot of fun. Follow us on Twitter at Mark and Macy Show. And let us know what you think we should talk about. And we will see you guys next week.
And Macy will be signing off from here on out because she does it so much better than I do. Good night, everyone.
Good night.